sports. Yes, once again, we are time zones and time zones away from home at the Capitol Gymnasium to watch the world's greatest gymnasts in the 7th World Cup of Gymnastics. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig in Beijing, China. What you'll see today happened today in Beijing, and that's the first time that we've been able to say that through the great history of ABC's Wide World of Sports. A satellite transmission the day the event occurred from this Far Eastern destination. Now, the athletes we will see qualified for this event through their performance at the 1985 World Championships in Montreal. The top 18 finishers were invited, and the top 18 finishers did not include any Americans, so we won't see any. Now, a man who's watched these gymnasts grow through the years and watched their performances in Montreal that day is with me again, Gordon Maddox. Gordon, if the Americans aren't here, who will we see?
Well, Al, we'll see 3 gymnasts from Japan. With their rich heritage, they could undoubtedly be a factor. Silvio Kroll from East Germany is here. He just barely lost the World Championship last year. But who we're really focusing on are 2 great men. Ning from China obviously is the sentimental favorite. He won 6 of the 7 gold medals at the last World Cup. And competing against him will be Yuri Korolev from the Soviet Union. Now, Yuri has won 2 World Championships and is undoubtedly a factor here. However, if there is an upset, I think we have to look to Valentin Mogilny, a young Soviet gymnast that just might be the classiest young gymnast to come along.
Now preparing to perform on the rings is Ning, 3 times a gold medalist at the Olympic Games in Los Angeles, in front of the home fans at the Capitol Gymnasium.
He's had a bit of a problem in the past with his shoulder. I think it's probably behind him now. Look at the arms on this man. And he'll show you tremendous strength right at the very top of his exercise. He just changed coaches, and they say that the new coach, rather than working on his technique, is trying to teach him to be a consistent winner. Watch this now. Right into a planche. D move, the highest difficulty you can get.
Gordon, it's a good time to explain the scoring, I think.
Well, the maximum score a gymnast can receive is a 9.4 unless they get extra rewards for courage, originality, or virtuosity. Each of those could give them another 0.2 of a point. You can bet that Ning is going to be cutting for all of the bonus points he can get, and maybe even the rings themselves.
Look at the definition and the muscles of Ning.
Now, he's picked up a little swing, probably not enough to be a deduction. But it is called the still ring event. Now, watch this dismount. Layout, double flyaway. Slight mistake, not a major problem. It's a good exercise.
Soviet gymnast Valentin Mogilny, who has already begun his routine on the rings at the World Cup of Gymnastics here in Beijing. We're watching him via the pictures courtesy of our friends at Chinese television. We should tell you that Ning's score on the rings was 9.8. He's off to a great start. Gordon, this 20-year-old is someone you like very much.
Yeah, and he's off to a good start here. He's the reigning national champion in the Soviet Union. This, however, is not his best event. He's working very well, but he's so tall it's difficult for him to do the difficult strength moves. So far, he's just coasting along. Layout, double flyaway for a dismount.
Nicely done by the man who finished 6th in the all-around at the World Championships in Montreal of '85.
Let's take another look, Al. He bails out of his handstand, takes a high, it's called a giant dislocate. Good tap now. High release for a layout, double flyaway. That's as high as the difficulty goes. Nice exercise, but not really sparkling.
9.8 is the score to Valentin Mogilny. So we have a tie at the top between Ning and Valentin Mogilny. And now we will cross the arena as this competition moves along. Now stepping to begin the floor exercise is the 24-year-old Soviet gymnast Yuri Korolev, the 2-time world champion, 1981 and 1985. And in 81 he was even the floor exercise champion. In 85 he finished 2nd.
Watch this opening. A layout double back, and he really rolls it around. You know, Al, the Soviets have never said that they thought that Korolev was their best gymnast. But he is such a consistent performer that he keeps chunking away, and all the other people eliminate themselves with mistakes. He is really unbelievable. Here comes a nice front pass. Now, remember Kurt Thomas? Here comes some Thomas flares. Right up to a handstand pirouette. Now, Korolev has from 50 seconds to 70 seconds in which to complete his routine. He has to do at least 3 tumbling passes. He has to show a balance on either one arm or one leg. Here comes the one leg balance, I would guess. And he has to show some strength. Now remember, his maximum score is 9-4 unless he has extra courage, originality, or virtuosity. Here comes another double back for dismount. Great exercise.
A little hop at the end, but a lot of power and strength and some artistic flair for Yuri Korolev of the Soviet Union. And you can just about see the confidence of past performances oozing from his muscles, can't you?
Yeah, he really does. He just kind of floats through the entire competition. Doesn't show any real highs or lows.
The score for Yuri Korolev of the Soviet Union is 9.7, awarded by the judges. So he will move right behind Ning and Valentin Mogilny, his teammate. To Zhu Tang. Now remember, we have 3 groups of gymnasts, and they are constantly in motion performing around the arena.
And Zhu is really built for this exercise, Al. He's long and lean.
He's 23 years old, from the city that has brought us great cuisine and a great language, Canton. So, Zhu Tang, one of the men who certainly could do things, now waits for his score. Let me tell you now where we are. We're 13 time zones ahead of New York and about a 21-hour flight away from it. Beijing lies on the same latitude about as Philadelphia, which means the temperatures here are about the same, but life here is very different. There isn't a fast food joint in sight, but we'll be showing you some of the sights throughout the show. 9-5 for Zhu Tang, and we'll be back in a moment. At the World Cup of Gymnastics in Beijing, we've already seen an early domination by the Chinese and the Soviet gymnasts. Here is Ning, tied for the lead after the first rotation as we move to the second.
Oh my, a double twisting Sugahara. Terrific vault. Not a great landing, but it's such a difficult vault that the deduction shouldn't be all that great. All right, let's take another look at slow motion. He's got to get great repulsion from the horse. Now watch the lift. Pushes off, round off, with a double twist. Boy, there's a lot going on up there.
And for the quiet artist from Guangxi in southern China, a 9.6. That will give him a total of 19.4 to set the pace for this second rotation. As we return to Valentin Mogilny, also on the vault.
Mogilny is not a great vaulter, but he tends to be very clean. He has great style even in his run. Full on half twisting, front handspring, front somersault.
What tremendous spring in his legs to recover from that deep dismount.
Really, he gets down so low. We'll have to take a look at it in slow motion. Now let's see if his knees touch the floor. If they do, it's a major deduction. Gets up pretty high. He just simply doesn't get it around far enough. Yes, he does touch his knees. That could be a heavy deduction for Mogilny.
And the judges will think about that as we will focus in on Yuri Korolev.
During the World Championships, excuse me, Al, they actually rewrote the rules because of Korolev. There are no stops allowed, no handstands in this event, but watch what Korolev does. He did this in the 81 World Championships. He stopped, did a semi-press to a handstand pirouette, and the crowd loved it so, the judges and the gymnasts loved it so that they rewrote the rule book. And it's almost stock now.
Let me tell you that Mogilny's dismount really did hurt him. 9.2. And Korolev nails his dismount.
Again, Korolev has become Mr. Consistent. Nothing sensational, he just doesn't make mistakes. Watch him again now. These are his flares. Stops it, and it's actually become a strength move. Presses back up into the handstand. Pirouette, you'd think he was working parallel bars.
Well, they're never satisfied, are they?
Never. Drops back in now and continues his scissors.
And the score for Yuri Korolev is 9.55. That puts him 15 1/100ths of a point behind Ning. Now to another fine Soviet gymnast. Vladimir Artemov on the horse. He's 21 years old from a town of his same name, Vladimir in the Soviet Union.
He's a good one. He was second in the all-around in the World Championships in Montreal. Now he's worked behind his back. He's covered the entire horse. Now he has to cover all three parts of the horse. Here his flare moves. Got to get into some scissors. This is the requirement. He's now fulfilled all the requirements. He doesn't work with as much stretch as I think he ought to. His hips aren't quite far enough from his hands. Boy, it's a nice exercise, though.
Now the 83 world champion on the parallel bars, Artemov, moves away from the horse. He'll be thinking about his next rotation, of course. Zhu Jichang is the next man we'll focus on. He's performing on the rings right now. Remember, he got off to a great start in the first rotation.
Now remember, in the rings, power is at a premium. And this brute strength is really sort of a demonstration of weight to strength ratio. I don't care how strong you are. If you're also heavy, you just can't perform well. Now watch this. Back pull. Go across, pull out to an immediate support.
Artemov's score, by the way, 9.70. He will be right near the top. Could be in the top 2 or 3, depending on what Jichang does here on the rings.
Well, he did a lot. He just did an inverted cross, back to another cross pull out, to another cross. Now he's required to show 3 separate strength moves. He's fulfilled that and more. Here comes a press to a handstand, and now he has all his requirements behind him. He's doing really a lovely routine, Al. Excuse me.
You know, we thought we were going to see the Japanese and perhaps Sylvia Kroll of East Germany, but really it has been the Chinese and the Soviet gymnasts who have dazzled us.
That's a dandy.
Zhu Jichang delighting this crowd of 18,000 who sold out this arena months ago.
Well, let's take another look now. Big pull into a layout double flyaway with your body stretched out. It's a long way around, and as you can see, he had to bend his knees just a little to get it around.
And the score, 9.75. The Chinese soldier takes the lead. Zhu Jichang is the leader. Ning and Artemov second and third. Back with more gymnastics later. To Beijing, China. Tiananmen Square in Beijing is to China what the Mall in Washington, D.C. is to the United States, what Red Square and the Kremlin are to the Soviet Union. It is in a way a symbol of everything this country stands for. But that's exactly the point. What this country stands for has changed dramatically over the past few years. The Chinese people now dress colorfully, listen to rock music if they want, even own their own business. And for Western visitors, it means first-class hotels that deliver spaghetti via room service at 10 o'clock, offer Cadillac limousines, even a Club Med if you so desire. Still overlooking all the proceedings here, that proud portrait of Chairman Mao. He, however, would not be smiling if he saw this China of 1986, for it is not the China he left behind. It is, however, the changing face of the People's Republic of China. may have about 1 billion more people to meet here in China, but the ones we've met have been very, very friendly. You would really like them. In the meantime, the gymnasts have been performing. We are preparing to enter the 5th rotation at the World Cup here in Beijing. Zhu Jichang, Ning of China are 1 and 2, and this man, Yuri Korolev of the Soviet Union, is in 3rd. He's preparing to mount the parallel bars to begin the 5th rotation.
This is normally a strong event for Yuri. Beach basket to a handstand. Here comes a giant swing into an immediate pirouette. Another giant swing, and he catches the handstand. Stützkehr. Now, he's only allowed to hold 3 of those handstands. He wants to take every move he can through or near the handstand, but he can only stop 3 times. There's his press to a handstand. Back to a hand. He'll do another stütz to a hand, and now here comes his dismount. Double back off. Really a solid exercise.
Beautifully done. You know, the Soviets have 3 gymnasts here. One seems to be better than the next. We'll see what the judges thought of Korolev in a moment. Soviet Union has taken the lead in the World Cup, a 9.9. And just to wrap up the weightlifting that you saw earlier on ABC's Wide World of Sports, at least 1 athlete from each country there was tested. 3 athletes of the 90 tested positive for drugs, 1 each from France, Egypt, and Nigeria. None of the athletes who won medals tested positive, though. The 3 who tested positive received suspensions for at least 2 years. We are now to the high bar, and Zhu Jichang.
He'll really show you some moves on this thing now. Well, oh my! This event just is unbelievable. Since they've required the release moves, it has really become an exciting and a bit of a terrifying event.
Now, he looks like he's fine, but what about his standing? He was the leader coming into this rotation.
Oh, it just about kills his chances. Now watch. He takes this up just a little too early. Takes him too far away from the bar. No way can he reach it. Looks like a dangerous landing. It's really not that bad. His coach probably was hurt more. Now he loses 0.5 of a point, is allowed to remount, but normally cannot repeat the move that he fell off on. Now he's in forward giants again. He pivots. Reverse giants. There's a 1-arm giant into an immediate. It's cut off.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Now he'll get set up for his dismount. There, excuse me, he rolls into eagle giants. Here we go. You can see his coach patting his mitt there, kind of getting ready to catch him. A layout, double flyaway. Boy, what a strong landing after such a disastrous center.
Boy, it never ceases to amaze me when you see an athlete, especially in gymnastics, get right back up on the bar and turn in a performance like that. This is Vladimir Artemov, once again of the Soviet Union. After 4 apparatus, he was in 4th place.
Well, he'll wail away a little bit here. Beach basket to a handstand.
Gordon Zhu Jichang scored 9.25. That will certainly remove him from the lead.
No question. Artemov does a stütz hand. Back up rise, pirouette. Back straddle. Now watch, isn't that nice? For a man as stiff as I am, that's a pretty exciting move to watch. Back summy to a catch. He really appears to be perfectly at home on the parallels. Very comfortable exercise.
Nicely done on the dismount by Artemov. Only 1 more apparatus to go after this 5th rotation. Here's Ning. He needs a 9.85 to take the lead as he prepares his mount and floor exercise.
And watch this. It's a double twisting, double back somersault. Oh, boy.
Oh, is that nice?
He is so explosive. Here comes another double back. This time in the pike position. Oop. Very close to the boundary. I can't see the judges. I think he was in bounds. If he touches, it's a 1/10 of a deduction.
Artemov scored 9.85. He's moved up a notch to 3rd.
Ning does his flares. To a handstand, back down to a press. Now, he sort of had a second seat there in his scissors or in his straddle.
You heard the crowd react. They were reacting to a great performance by Lu Yun on the parallel bars as the competition continues all over the arena. And they may have a reaction left for Ning when he's finished as well.
There's no question about it. With Zhu falling off the high bar, the door is really open for this young man. Now here comes another double. Little hop on the end, but that's really a nice exercise. Going to be in the high nines.
Ning, who was able to win 3 gold medals at the Olympic Games in Los Angeles on floor exercise, pommel horse, and the rings. Watch it again.
All right, we're going to take a second look at the ball. Pardon me, at the mount. It's going to be a double twisting, double back somersault. Now, that's just a whole lot going on up there. Imagine what this thing feels like the first time he tried it. Now, falling out is a real planned cover move.
And the score for Ning, 9.75. So he does not take the lead. And after 5 rotations with only 1 to go, Yuri Korolev has the lead. Ning is in second. With Gordon Maddox, our same-day coverage of the World Cup Gymnastics event in Beijing continues. And this huge stage at the Capitol Gymnasium is set for what could be a dramatic finish. No, the Japanese haven't done well, and Silvio Kroll hasn't done well, but the Soviets and the Chinese, they have been magnificent. Here is Vladimir Artemov.
And there's a one-armed giant. This event has become so exciting with the advent of one-armed giants and release moves such as the Tkachev, the flyaway half-turn you just saw Artemov perform. Now, this event has to be predominantly giant swings, and it has to include those moves, the L-grip giants or eagle giants.
Artemov only 1/100th of a point away from the lead. Prior to this, the final apparatus.
Good job, Al. It's going to put him right up there.
Meantime, the 2 leaders, Ning and Yuri Korolev, yet to perform. Here is Ning.
Now, I think Ning is at a distinct disadvantage having to work the pommel horse last. It's such a dangerous event to work, and Korolev is working high bar, which is like his playground.
Artemov's score a 9.7. That means Ning needs a 9.6 to take the lead away from the Soviet gymnast.
Well, if he continues this pace, it should be no problem. Ning is working very, very well. His flares. Down to the end. Now watch his dismount. He'll hop all the way down to the end of the horse. Oh, good job. I think you're looking at the new leader.
The loudest roar of the competition, no question about it, for Ning. And that leaves the fate of the World Cup of '86 up to one man and one man alone. Yuri Korolev, and the crowd is waiting anxiously to see what he is able to do. In the meantime, Ning takes some well-deserved plaudits from the crowd. 9.85 to take the lead. As it is so often, a matter of nerve, a matter of numbers. Almost boos from the crowd for Yuri Korolev as he climbed to the platform to mount the horizontal bar. He is the final performer in the 7th World Cup. He needs a 9.85 to win and a 9.8 to tie his old nemesis, Ning.
And Korolev's exercise, when compared with the other athletes in this competition, is really pretty conservative. It fulfills all the requirements, but he just doesn't take the same chances the others do. One-arm giant to Tkachev.
Listen to this reaction from the crowd against this gymnast from the Soviet Union.
And they're so into friendly competition here. This really surprises me. He's into it and out of his eagle giants. Very conservative, front somebody recatch. And he'll probably be showing you a layout double flyaway. Very, very strong championship routine.
Solid, very solid.
Didn't take your breath away though, did it?
No, it certainly didn't. He did not reach for new heights. He needs a 9.85 to win.
Don't bet against it.
Time 8. It's a tie. Ning and Yuri Korolev have tied. And And so here are the final standings at the World Cup of Gymnastics for 1986. A tie between Yuri, Korolev, and Ning of China. They've gone at it for so many years, and they did it once again here in Beijing. And 3/10 behind them, another fine Soviet gymnast, Vladimir Artemov.
When we return to Beijing, China, we'll find out if our intrepid search party found the golf ball that Jim McKay hit over the Great Wall almost 10 years ago.
Last play. This ball could be... This is really driving us up the wall here. Ah! I got it! I got it! Jim! We found it! Here it is!
I can't believe you did that, Al. That's fantastic. Here it is. Wait a minute. I was playing a Pinnacle 7. This is a Genghis Khan 3?
What? Jim. Oh, no. Well, I guess there's a mile or two of this thing we haven't covered. We'll just keep looking. Keep looking, everybody!
And as they distribute the medals here at the 7th World Cup of Gymnastics, we can tell you that we will keep searching for future champions. This will wrap up our season on ABC's Wide World of Sports, and it has been one of firsts. The first black U.S. and World Figure Skating champion, Debbie Thomas. The first clown princess of basketball, globetrotter Lynette Woodard. You've seen athletes test the limits of their physical and mental endurance, racing across America on a bicycle without sleep, and running 100 miles through seemingly impossible terrain. Mike Tyson emerged as boxing's new superstar. Jerry Cooney convinced everyone that he is back. We continue to follow the careers of the Olympic boxing champions, including Mark Freeland and Evander Holyfield, the first 1984 Olympian to win a world title. We've seen the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. 1986 marked the 25th anniversary of ABC's Wide World of Sports, celebrating some of the most important events in sports over the past quarter of a century. And throughout the year, we've moved toward the future, presenting more live events than ever before and reporting on some of the most controversial issues in sports. And we feel pretty special here in Beijing, wrapping up the 26th season with the first same-day coverage of any sporting event in China. The Wide World of Sports will return once again in December when we try to make the wide world a little closer, a little smaller, and a lot more personal once again. Please join us in December.
Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines.